Hey guys, what's up? It's Natasha and welcome back to this week's video. As you can see, today I will be doing the mid-year freakout tag. This is a tag that was created to just review your goals for the middle of the year, see where you are, see what you want to do, and have you accomplished anything so far. I didn't find the original creator, but I will link Gabby from Gabby Reads channel down below, as well as her video, because I used her questionnaire, which just has a few extra added questions to it. But before we get started, please remember to like the video, subscribe, and answer the questions down below, and let's just jump right into the video. So I'm just gonna add one extra question to the questionnaire, and it is, how many books have you read this year so far? I'm on 68 out of a goal of 85, so I think I'm gonna have to change my goal somewhere along the line. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. The second question is, best book you've read so far for 2024. The first one I'm gonna say is Bride by Annie Hazelwood. This is a paranormal romance between a vampire and a werewolf, and the vampire is sent to marry the werewolf in like a marriage of convenience kind of trope. But the problem is that these two species don't connect well together, and there's also a reason why the vampire agreed to marry this werewolf. She has a hidden agenda and she is determined to solve that. This book is kind of like a mystery added with a little bit of spicy tension. It is a real Annie Hazelwood story where the main male character is huge and the female main character is petite, but they have this amazing compatibility and banter together. Compatibility is a strong word, but anyway, they continuously learn about one another and they just eventually enjoy each other's company, and that's what I enjoyed about this book. The writing is also pretty amazing. It is fast flowing, even though some of the chapters are like 20 pages. You don't realize that. The next one is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This is a book that I recently read and enjoyed so much. I love the writing in this. It can be a bit repetitive, or on the repetitive side. There are things that, like the sentence is rewritten twice with added adjectives or added adverbs or something like that. It's something that I picked up only because Newly Nova Reads, I believe, mentioned this while reviewing this book, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't have noticed it until you pointed it out. But nonetheless, I enjoyed the enemies to lovers vibe in this book. But overall, I enjoyed the writing, I enjoyed the enemies to lovers, and I'm looking forward to the next book. The next book is probably by far my favorite of the year, and it is A Crimson Moth. This is about a witch and a witch hunter. They are enemies and they fall in love. I don't want to say any more because there is so much more attached to this. The hype around this book is really worth it. If you haven't read this book or you're too scared to pick it up, I definitely would suggest it. The writing is so captivating. It reads so quickly, and by the end, these two become enemies again. I don't know if that's going to be a spoiler for someone, but it's basically a cycle of enemies to lovers back to enemies. And the way this book ends makes me hurt because I really want the next book, and this next book is only coming out, I think, next year, February. So the next one is Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is a second chance romance about two people who are going to a friend's holiday under the ruse of they are dating, or they are still dating even though they broke up like 4 or 5 months ago. Because this is a very big week for their other friends, they don't want to drop a bomb and say, hey, we've been apart for like 4 years, so they act as if they are dating. And it's just the emotional roller coaster of going through what the characters are going through, because you jump from the current state that they are in, or relationship state they are in, back to when they just started getting to know each other and just started falling in love. And it's just a book that tries to rip your heart out and kind of succeeds. In the end, it's just, will they, won't they? Is the circumstances surrounding their breakup just too much to bear for them? That is a very good book. It was also my first Emily Henry book and I really enjoyed it. The next one is Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan, and this is an urban fantasy series, although we don't know when the next book is going to come out. First book released in February, and if you like high fantasy with dragons and secrets and what else is there? Politics around people and merfolk, and kind of a discussion around climate change as well, I would definitely suggest picking this book up. I was scared to pick this book up, and then once I started reading it, I couldn't put it down. It was such an amazing book and I just can't praise it enough. And then the last one for this question is House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. I'm not going to say a lot about this book because I believe a whole lot of people know about this. Basically an urban fantasy with fae and drama and stuff. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. It deserves all the praise that it has, and I know there's a lot of controversy around this book, but I really enjoyed it, enjoyed the storytelling, enjoyed the way the characters grew and the way some of the things were done. Obviously there were some of the things that I really didn't enjoy, but it's part of the progress. This is the thickest book I have read in 2 days, and I'm pretty proud of myself for that. And that is without audio, might I add. The next question is best sequel you've read so far in 2024. I'm gonna go again with House of Flame and Shadow. It's not a sequel, but it's the third book in the series, so yeah. The next one is Dance of Stars and Ashes by Nisha J. Tilley. This is basically a Asian-inspired fantasy romance about this girl who has been locked away around a secret island and she can't escape until one day when her ward basically disappears and the wards around her house disappears, and she flees from them and comes across this city where a lot of magic happens. There's a lot of, you know, like random things, magical things happening. I enjoyed the story. I don't know exactly how to describe the story, but just know if you are looking for like Asian heritage kind of stories, definitely pick this one up. The next question is a new release that you haven't read yet but really want to. The first one is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I've seen a lot of hype around this book, so yeah, I just really want to read it. I think I am going to read it soon because it is for our book club, so I am going to be reading it. The next one is, I think it's Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, but I would like to read the whole, I don't know, standalone series that she created, because I hear a lot of people say if you want to read like the last book, it would be better if you read all 3 of her books. I don't know, I just see a lot of hype around her books, so I definitely would like to pick them up. The next question is most anticipated release for the last half of the year or the second half of the year, and I'm gonna go with Reckless by Lauren Roberts. It's the second book for the Powerless trilogy. The next question is your biggest disappointment. For that, I didn't even want to pick it up. I'm gonna say Frostbite by Rochelle Mead. This is the second book in the Vampire Academy series, and I did not enjoy this. I was very generous and gave it a 3 stars, but the more I think about it, the more I want to bump it down to 2 stars because I was bored for half of this book. I just want to put it down. And I really have a love and hate relationship with the Vampire Academy series, but this one just, yeah, it was the cherry on top. I did not enjoy it. I don't know what it was about. It was probably because of the writing. Rose was really annoying. I don't know if her publishers or editors told her, listen, she reads too mature, so make her stupid. I don't know. Does that sound harsh? Maybe, but that's how I felt, and I was really annoyed with the decisions she made, with the people, how they acted towards her. So yeah, luckily that part of the series is over now. The next question is, what was your biggest surprise? The one would definitely be Bride by Annie Hazelwood, because I saw that it was hyped up, but I was just like, if I like it, I do. If I don't, then I don't. I wasn't gonna put like this thing on a pedestal and hope it will succeed in my vision. The next one is Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan. Like I said before, I didn't want to pick this book up. The moment I started reading it, I was just like, wow, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, because it was very complicated in the beginning. There were so many characters and things weren't gelling together in my mind, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to be enjoying this. But the more I read and the more I understood, the more I was like, ooh, I really like this book. I think those are the only 2. The next question is favorite new author to you. I'm gonna say Nisha J. Tilley. Well, she's not really new, but she's newish to me. Since last year, she's new to me. And then Annie Hazelwood and Eliza Chan. Question number 9 is newest fictional crush. I'm gonna have to say Gideon Shaw from The Crimson Moth. He has this way of acting towards Rune, the main character, and it is just so sweet. It's funny. In the beginning, he treats her so weirdly, and then he doesn't realize how much he has fallen in love with her, and just the way they sometimes talk to one another. I don't know. He just stole my heart. And then the next one is Kai from Powerless. Yeah, no, I don't know, some of the words he spoke to Peyton and the way he sometimes acted, I was just like, you know, that this gif is what I'm talking about, is how I usually felt when he came on or when I read about him. And then question number 10 is your newest favorite character. I'm gonna have to go with Rune from The Crimson Moth, Peyton from Powerless, even though she sometimes does the stupidest things, but which character doesn't? And then Zarya from Heart of Night and Fire, that kind of girl who she stands up for herself no matter what. She says a thing like it is, and I really aspire to be that kind of person. The next question is the book that made you cry. Yes. House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, I did cry with this book, and I think this is the only book that made me cry so far this year. I'm not a big crier. I don't feel a lot of emotions. Well, I do. I feel annoyance when I read, but there's not a lot of times when I say, okay, I need a moment to cry. But I remember the end of this one, or close to the end of this one, I was sniffing like real bad. And then one that almost made me cry was The Crimson Moth, only because of some circumstances and stupid things that happened. But yeah. The next question is a book that made you happy. The Crimson Moth. Yeah, also Happy Place by Emily Henry. I think those are the two that made me happy. That it gives conflicting emotions because I'm saying The Crimson Moth made me cry, but it also made me happy. I don't know. The writing just made me happy. It wasn't the circumstances in the book that made me happy. It was just the writing. I don't know. It did something to me, and I enjoyed that book so much. The next question is favorite book to film adaptation you've seen this year. I think like last year, I would say I didn't watch any films that were first books. I think I did say Daisy Jones and the Six, but this year I didn't watch any. Not that I can remember. The next question is most beautiful book you've bought this year, or so far. I'm gonna say House of Flame and Shadow. Okay, we're gonna put that one there. The Crimson Moth. I like the Heartless Hunter better. Well, not the Heartless Hunter, but the cover for Heartless Hunter better, but this is also very pretty. I stared at this one for a while. Obviously, Powerless, because let me just put it closer, you will see the colors. These purple flowers have meaning. I didn't know that. I would also say Leigh Bardugo's The Familiar is it's plain and simple, but it's pretty. I really like this book. It was a 4.5, but it wasn't on my top favorites for this year so far, so that's unfortunate. And then the last one is I finally got What the River Knows by Isabel Vines. I believe that's how you pronounce her name, or her surname. I read this book last year, I think this time, and I love this book so much. And she's coming out with the next book close to the end of this year. This is another anticipated release. My bad, I forgot about that one. The next question is what books do you need to read before the end of this year? The last books in the Kelly Armstrong series, the Women of the Otherworld series, I wasn't going to pick them up because they like right at the bottom of the shelves, and that's a whole lot of work. As well as most of my 24 books to read in 2024. And then the last question is your favorite manga you've read this year. I wouldn't say it was a manga. I read a comic. It was Die Fantasy Heartbreaker. I read this and I really enjoyed it. Don't know if it counts, but I'm gonna put it there. That is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below by answering the questions, and I'll see you guys in a video next week. Bye.